are at Gamescom 2014. Here we are with Benjamin Plich, who is a lead game designer on AC Unity, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so let's start with the first question. So for months now, the recurring theme for Unity has been the systemic. Yeah. What does it mean, and which innovation does it bring?
But systemic means that we are actually letting the system create different types of gameplay. For example, for Unity, we have a strong focus on the ecosystem, on the crowd, and being systemic means that the game sometimes will create events that it's not scripted, it's not controlled by the level designer, so anything can happen everywhere. For example, we have different types of gameplay, we have features such as crowd events. So let's say you have two different types of NPC in the crowd, and they are tagged as friend or unfriend, and when they are meeting, they are doing stuff on their own, and it will change the setting of a mission, it will attract some people, it will create some noise in the world, and make it real. So that's why we are talking sometimes of living and breathing ecosystem. So it's what systemic means. Yeah. Yeah.
Very interesting. Another question. Stealth and exploration seem to show mechanics which are more complex than those that we previously saw in the series. So is it something that you already always wanted to do, but you couldn't do in the past because of technical limitations, or is it something that something new?
But what we were able to achieve with Unity is because we are on next gen, we were able to go back to the roots of the franchise and having one massive big city with a crowd. And as you already noticed, the crowd is incredible in the game. We have so many NPCs that you have almost a claustrophobic kind of feeling, you know. And so that's something we could achieve with the next gen. That's one of the features. Of course, the stealth, but we had to actually to revamp most of the pillars of the game. We have to redo the navigation, the fight, and the stealth. So for the stealth, well, now we have the stealth mode. So we have a dedicated button to enter in stealth. And so more than ever, now we are giving the tools for the player to play stealth. It's not linked to the level design. So of course you can still hide in a hiding spot or a high stack, but it's more like now with the stealth button, you are able as a player to say, okay, I will do the mission from the beginning to the end in stealth. And so we are pushing a little bit more in each pillar. We had to redo the fight also. We remove the counter kill. Now you have the perfect parries. The game is the fight is more balanced and it's more challenging and difficult, more deep also because we have new moves and so yeah.
Very nice. So we saw that you worked on AC Utopia. Yes. So it was a project which was cancelled. So how much an abandoned project or feature can affect future games?
I don't really know how to answer this question. I would say that it's part, you know, of the industry. Sometimes we have to make choices of. It's part of. We are listening a lot about what the fans have to say about the games. We are taking that in account. We are trying to push as much as possible all the features for the games. Sometimes it happens that it's cancelled for different reasons, and what it affects is sometimes you had some cool ideas and we are keeping that in your mind and you can reuse that on different projects. But it's not like, I mean, it's part of the experience of working in video game companies. So there is some cuts sometimes. Sometimes it's difficult, but we always want, you know, during the production to keep what is the essence of the game. For Unity, for example, it was really to have the co-op and to have the focus on the stealth and the crowd. So of course sometimes you have some limitation, and because of the time, because of production, we have to take decision. But what's the most important is to stick to the vision of the project. Okay. We have a clear vision in the project. We have a creative director always explaining us on daily basis what we have to do, and we have to follow the vision. And the vision for Unity is to play with your friend and fight the Templars all together in the French Brotherhood. So that we have to stick on that, and that's the most important. That's the reason why we can always achieve and you know, focus on what is very important for the game. Yeah.
So how did the study and creation of the environments change with the introduction of the controlled descent? And will this skill aim at research for more realism, and will it bear a gradual elimination of the haystacks?
Yeah, that's a good question. The control descent is, well, that's a new feature in the navigation, allowing to be more free in the game. What's very important to the control descent is there was some comments, from fans saying that when you are on top of building, you are always using haystack, and sometimes when you have to go down, you have to jump, and sometimes you get hurt, sometimes you get into conflict, and so we really wanted to be able. It's also linked to the stealth, to have the flexibility, to have the freedom to control your descent, to be very calm and go down in the ground without being detected was part also of what it means to be a real assassin. And it's also because now the scale, the building in Unity, it's a one-to-one scale. So as you notice, during even at E3, the demo, it was starting with a huge control descent. Of course, we still have haystack in the game because it's iconic and people like that. And now you can do you can go synchronize your leap of faith with your friends. There is some cool stuff to do. But yeah, the control descent was basically to give more freedom, and also it was also to give the ability to the player to navigate very easily and smoothly on that kind of very tall buildings, because it was never done before, that huge building. So we had to work the navigation and give more control to the player. Yeah.
So what are the challenges that you encountered in the implementation of the adaptive mission mechanics?
I think there was no really difficulty with adaptive mission mechanics. It was more, again, we are reading a lot, we are listening a lot about what people are saying about the game. And some people are not annoyed, but saying, yeah, I didn't really like the tail in the game, because when I'm doing a tail, I'm noticed by the guard, I'm desynchronized. And so we have to think about what is the most realistic approach in a game. As I explained, it's also part of what we were talking about, the ecosystem. Everyone is living, breathing, we are not cutting everything. Even during missions, the ecosystem is there. So anything can happen. And to stick to that kind of philosophy, we had to do that adaptive mission adaptive mission mechanics for, but you know how it works, huh? It's you are tailing someone, if it's seeing you, it starts to go to a chase. So it's more realistic, and there is no frustration. And sometimes it's very interesting because you will discover different things. For example, if you are tailing a guy from the beginning to the end, he will maybe enter a house you didn't know, and in this house there was a chest. And if you kill the guy from the beginning, you didn't notice that. So it's really to give the feeling that it's alive, and it's up to the player just to discover, to walk around, and to gather information, listening from conversation of NPCs. And so there was no really challenges. I think it was a logical evolution of the system we had so far. And it's very, it's good. I think it was a good decision. Yeah.
It is, actually. So we talked about the crowd.
Yes.
So which are the major innovations that you introduced? What we said before. Okay, you can't answer. You can add.
But the thing is, as I explained before, we have a big focus on the crowd. Almost 5,000 NPC we can display on screen. So to create that kind of very huge environment. So ability to have a very realistic blending effect, because as you notice, even the color of Arnaud is not white, it's not flashy in the crowd. It's almost, you cannot even recognize when he's working on the. So it's very realistic, and it's also to be able to play with the crowd. You can throw some money to move the crowd and create some blend group. For the stealth, also, very important thing is the crowd. Now we have faction in the game, so you have some. We have the bad guys, the aggressor, the extremists that are working for the Templars, or mostly they are manipulated by the Templar, and was the National Guard, the strongest opponent we ever created in an AC game, and it's work like the police in a real world. They are not against you, they are against conflicts. So if they see people attacking you and you are not reacting, they will stop the conflict. It's working. It's great to realize sometimes there is one guy looking at you and try to fight, and you have the police coming and say, "Hey, go there," and he escapes. So and we have allies. The allies are all kind of friends of the Brotherhood. So when you are in a fight and there is some allies, they will automatically join the fight and try to help you. And also the allies and the aggressors, the extremists, they are opposite faction. So sometimes you don't have to do anything. You are just walking out the street, looking at the corner, and they start to fight. And sometimes it creates some very interesting situation. For example, there is a guard in front of a palace. You want to enter the palace, but you don't have the skills, the tool to attract him. And automatically, randomly, some allies and some extremists will encounter and fight. So the police will react, and you have the window of opportunity to go. And that creates that kind of feeling that a lot of the time when you are replaying a mission, it will never be the same. Yeah.
Very, very interesting. So, can we talk about, last question maybe, can we talk about the innovations in terms of connectivity? Will there be...
Yeah, connectivity is...
yeah.
Of course, this year
the online,
yeah,
of course, the co-op.
This year we are in co-op. That's a big step forward for the brand. That's something we really wanted to do from the beginning. Actually, this project starts at the end of Brotherhood. You know, it was what it really takes to do the real Brotherhood in Assassin's Creed. Okay. So during all those years, the people were working on the project to rebuild the engine, to be the engine of the game to be compliant with online. So what it takes to do an online game. But we are not on our own. You know, we have several studios working with us. We have the studio of ANSI, very strong in online. They are always helping us a lot for that. Yeah, so the co-op, being able to play like a real assassin in a group. So yeah, that's of course the innovation is huge this year. You know, and most importantly is, we didn't want to have separated progression, multiplayer or solo. Now, every time you are playing the game with your friend or alone, you are making progress. The same character, Arno. Actually, everyone is playing Arno in the game, because sometimes we are seeing on the screen there is different characters, but they are all Arno. But since we are giving a lot of ownership to the player, now they are able to customize the character, to have some different skills, different outfits, changing the color. So, but they are still Arno. And so yeah, we had to work on the customization to offer the possibility for the players to be all different, and also to have some complementarity. Because if you are building a fight guy and I'm creating a stealth guy, when we are playing together, I will open doors for you. You will be able to kill very difficult enemies for me. So yeah, it's a big shift in the philosophy of Assassin's Creed.
Well, very well. Thanks for the interview, and you told us you follow us on YouTube. Yeah. So can you say hi to our community?
Yeah. So hi. Yeah. Actually, I was surprised because yeah, I know the site. I'm following the YouTube channel because I always like to see what people are saying about the game. So so hi to everyone. I hope you will enjoy the game. And
thank you very much. Thank you very much. And we see you in the next video.